Long Warren Soccer on Brad Fay. Bad news, at least delayed news as far as the Blue Jays are concerned in the Yankees today. There was no power at the Sky Dome, and it seems kind of strange that there's a power outage today after the Yankees maybe used up all the juice last night. We'll talk about what happened last night, what it means for the Blue Jays, and what might happen later today after we show you what happened last night. They are working to restore the power, by the way, but here's the way it shook down. A lot of people would have left early. There were a lot there early on, no question about it. Over 43,000. Game 3 of 4 between these two teams. Top of the ninth, 10-6 Yankees. Kerry Lightenberg into pitch. The first batter he faces is Ruben Sierra. That is a grand slam. The 300th home run of his career, and the Yankees hit at 14-6. Next batter is Tony Clark, who's already gone deep twice, and he takes the first pitch he sees. Off the Windows Restaurant as well. Third homer of the game, 15-6 New York. Same inning, 2 on. Gary Sheffield still facing Lightenberg. Will hit it deep to center. Reed Johnson can't run it down. The good news for Lightenberg is it stayed in the park, but both runners will score. Sheffield will wind up with a triple initially, but watch what happens when he comes off the bag because he injures himself and he's tagged out right there. 17-6 Yankees though. Next batter for Lightenberg is A-Rod, and guess what? Yeah, I'm not kidding. Another home run. 2/3 of an inning pitch, 6 hits, 5 earned runs for Lightenberg. 18-6 Yankees, and they only have one option. Frank Menachino comes into pitch, the first position player to do that for the Jays since Rick Leach in 1984. After allowing a pair of singles, he gets Sierra to line out to short. The Yankees win it 18-6. And it was not pretty. Several boos for those who hung around, although there were a lot of Yankee fans there that were cheering, and many that can't get into games at Yankee Stadium or get up close like the Sky Dome atmosphere. A little cheaper, perhaps, for them as well. Apologies, I got the allergies going. I think that the Jays pitching staff was allergic to the Yankee bats yesterday. So a power outage today, as we mentioned. If you're just joining us, the game is delayed. We're going to take you to the Mets and the Dodgers when they get to their first pitch, at least to tide us over until the Jays and Yankees are underway. But man, this may be a lightning rod, as it were, which might have put the power out. But for the Blue Jays, if anybody's getting impatient with what's happening in Toronto, that game last night might have put them over the top. It did, and you look at John Gibbons, he said, you know, we just got to throw this one away. We got to forget about it. This is a very tough time of the year when you're on a team that's losing like the Blue Jays are, and you're playing the New York Yankees, who now have 200 home runs. Talk about a power surge for that team, and they continue to roll. A lot of talk about last night why they left Mariano Rivera in, thought that was maybe a Bush League maneuver by Joe Torre. I don't see Joe Torre as a Bush League manager. I think he's very classy, but leaving Mariano Rivera in to pitch the ninth. Frankie Menachino came in. Talk about a guy who's a gamer. He went up to Gibbons and said, listen, you need me in there, I'll come in. Sean Douglas was away because his wife was having a baby. So Frankie Menachino comes in, does a job, not happy, left the game very disappointed. You know what? You look at guys like Menachino, and I think this Blue Jay team really, I mean, they're going to build for next year, and I think it's really important right now, Brad, that they do that. They continue to get positives, and you don't want to focus too much on the individual because it still has to be a team effort. But guys right now are looking like Carlos Delgado. They want to build their numbers up for next year and want to show, you know, young guys like Reed Johnson. They're fighting for positions in the outfield next year. And what about the Yankees? The Red Sox coming on strong. They had made a big push to get to within 5.5 games in the East, and I know you said yesterday, funny the timing, during the game you said you're not quite sold on this Yankee team. They explode in the ninth inning, give an indication what they can do, but where does this team go from there? What is it that you're not sold on with the Yankees? I'm not necessarily sold on the pitching, really, and bringing Esteban Loaiza in, or Loaiza, they said that he was going to be probably an extended or a long relief man. Well, it looks like they went with the 6 starting rotation for a while. They've now put Loaiza into the bullpen, so it's going to be 5 in that rotation. I'm still not sold yet on the rotation. I think that the pitching really could be the Achilles heel for this team. Not sure exactly. You look at the teams, you know, yes, they have the money. Obviously, they can get to the playoffs year after year, but you look at some of the teams, you look at St. Louis, you look at the pitching staffs, you look at an Oakland out west, and my question with them, and then look at the surging Red Sox as well. Look what they're doing. Look at the team chemistry. I think the Red Sox probably hoping that they're not surging too quickly, but you look at what they've done, and you look at the record, and guys like Kevin Millar and now David Ortiz, who's starting to become comfortable in the 4 slot, hasn't really shown it with the numbers, but he's becoming comfortable there. Doug Mankiewicz, guys like that, Orlando Cabrera, they haven't, I mean, they've really, really improved their runs given up.
as a team because of the strength in defense. And I think the Boston Red Sox, and maybe this year, who knows? I mean, you look at the Cubs, you look what they're doing. I mean, awfully difficult. They're shooting for a wild card. But does Boston do the Cubs? Yep. Would we see that fairy tale matchup? And maybe it will happen this year.
Almost happened a year ago, and both of them in pretty good position to put themselves into the postseason. We'll take a break. If you just joined us, power outage at the Sky Dome. We are waiting for it to be restored so that the Blue Jays and Yankees can get it on Game 4 of their series. We'll come right back. We'd like to tell you how far away we are from the first pitch at Sky Dome, but we have no idea. There's a power outage there, so the Jays and Yankees await the fixture of that problem, and they can get back to it. As we mentioned, no power outage for the Yankees last night, 18 runs, including 9 in the ninth. It's Warren Sakiw and Brad Fay. We're going to take you to the Mets and Dodgers first pitch, and while we wait for action to be ready to go at Sky Dome, so you will get baseball very shortly. We're talking about items and issues from around the major leagues, and the Philadelphia Phillies did a little bit of reshuffling of the pitching staff, but what do you think?
Well, they were a team that was supposed to take this NL East, and they went out and made some acquisitions in the pitching department to hopefully help themselves. Corey Lytle, Todd Jones, and Felix Rodriguez, the 3 pitchers that they brought over. You know, you look at these guys, and each of them took turns being the losing pitcher against Houston this past week. The Phillies' new pitchers are combined 2-7 with a 6.62 ERA, allowing 26 runs and over 44 hits in 35 and a third innings. Lytle is 0-2 with an 8.1, 6 starts. Jones 0-3 with a 7.20 and 11 of relief. And Rodriguez is 2-2 with a 4.08 ERA. So they went out, they thought that they would make the maneuvers to get them. GM Ed Wade says that Larry Bowa is in as coach for the remainder of the year, but at the end of the year, as usual, they will reevaluate to see if he is going to come back. I don't know. Larry Bowa, one of those fiery managers, sometimes if it doesn't work, you know, they can only go so long to the well, and then he has to go. So the Phillies, one of those teams, 11.5 games back in the NL East. Definitely shocking and surprising for that organization.
No question about it. Adrian Beltre shocked a lot of people hitting his 42nd home run. They went 5 for 5 as the Dodgers hammered the Mets 9-2. Yeah, I was going to say maybe taking it out on somebody, but the LA Dodgers kind of been sitting, I don't know, playing about 500 ball for the last couple of weeks, but it's been enough to keep them where they are. What do you make of this team out west? We don't see a lot of the teams out west.
Well, GM Paul DePodesta, I mean, his neck is going to be on the line for this trade that he made. And you look at, some of the likes that he let go, Mota, his setup man, and then you turn back to see getting to Eric Gagne. Eric Gagne struggled here in August, and you wonder, have they started to go to the well once too often with him? But I think this team, really, they are now still in the lead. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to handle the coming down through the stretch, losing the players that they did. And I think, losing the heart and soul behind the plate for them. That's one thing that I thought when they made that trade. Paul LaDuca, I love that guy. I think that guy was the heart and soul. And you get rid of the heart and soul, I think it's awfully difficult to keep that going.
They are Chris Benson on the hill for the Dodgers. We're about 20 seconds away from the first pitch. He is 10-10, and let's give you an indication what's at stake for the Dodgers. The NL West lead, as Warren mentioned, so comfortable at 5 games, but they have kind of a little bit of sloppy, you might say, of late. And if San Diego or San Francisco can get hot, then maybe the Dodgers could be on the outside looking in. For now, it's the Dodgers and Mets while we await the resumption of power at Sky Dome. We have word that the power outage has been solved at Sky Dome. First pitch scheduled for 2:15, which is about 50 minutes away. So in the meantime, we continue to bring you the Dodgers and Mets from sun-drenched New York. Tell the people in Toronto that New York is sun-drenched doesn't make any sense. But a chance to look at Sean Green, a former Blue Jay playing for the Dodgers. We'll take you back there now. Again, if you're just joining us, power outage at the Sky Dome. It has been fixed, 2:15, the first pitch. But in the meantime, we bring you the Mets and the Dodgers. What do you make of the deals the Mets made?
Well, Victor Zambrano, they already knew that he had a bad elbow prior to coming over, so that's one thing Jim Duquette has to worry about. Will he be able to pitch the rest of the year? And then Chris Benson, will they be able to re-sign him? Right now they're talking about 2 years, $12 million. Apparently Benson's looking for 3 years. They've talked to his agent, and really free agency apparently is going to be a backup plan. They really need to sign this guy, or Jim Duquette's head might roll over there.
Back to Shea. The announcing team on the Mets game just gave me the idea why I always hated the Dodgers growing up. Antiseptic. I had Steve Garvey, Oral Hershiser, guys straight down the middle. They won, and they're winning now. But I say, do you think they need a little bit of fire maybe for the postseason?
Well, I think one guy, Steve Finley, in the outfield is an emotional leader. Here's a guy coming from a last-place team to a first-place team, hitting over 400 since he came over. And if you wonder why maybe they're doing it, maybe it's leadership like Steve Finley in the outfield that's doing it for this team.
Yeah, it might help. The Mets and Dodgers well underway. 2:15 first pitch will be the Blue Jays and the Yankees. It has been delayed because of a power outage, so we'll continue to bring you up to date on everything else going on as well. Back to Shane. About 20 minutes away from first pitch at Skydome. The power is back on. The people are filing in to see the Yankees and the Blue Jays. We saw on the Jumbotron Alumni Weekend, Brett, that we've heard from a few of them through the course of the last number of broadcasts, and hopefully we'll hear some from some more today. There are other games going on. No power outages for the Chicago White Sox, as you will see right now. Let's show you what's going on with the White Sox in Cleveland at Jacobs Field. Bottom of the second, no score, one on. Casey Blake going the opposite way and getting enough of it to put his team up 2-0. Still in the bottom of the second, Ronnie Belliard hits back to pitcher John Garland. Ben Broussard gets caught in the rundown. Jose Valentin will tag out both Belliard and Broussard. Couple of ards in one fell swoop. More from the inning. Coco Crisp with a single to left. Jody Garrett scores. The Tribe leads it by a score of 3-0.
Here comes the throw by Ross Glode. It comes through.
And Casey Blake just moments ago at it again. Second home run of the ball game, 24th of the year. It's a solo shot, 4-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Yeah, and John Garland, talk about struggling against a team in 13 appearances against Cleveland, 3-7 record with a 6.16 ERA. He's given up more walks, 38, than he has given up strikeouts to them, 37. So you look at his struggles today. Some pitchers just struggle against certain teams, and it's obvious that he's got his hands full with the Indians today.
The Yankees didn't have too much trouble with the Blue Jays yesterday. Resounding victory. 9 times they scored in the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays maybe trying to save a little face. Again, we're about 20 minutes away from the first pitch. We'll take you to Skydome momentarily, but for now, it's back to Shea Stadium. Bonus coverage, the Mets and the Dodgers. Bonus because of the fact that the power was out at Skydome. It has been restored. You heard them talking about it on the broadcast. We want to get you to Skydome momentarily because they are about to honor Tom Cheek. Any thoughts on the man that you grew up listening to?
I grew up listening to him. Didn't matter. It had early win now. Jerry Howarth, phenomenal man. When he went down sick, I sent him an email. Felt so terrible. His son, Jeff Cheek, a former baseball player, just a great family. And for me, he actually worked at the Olympics. I just got back from the Olympics, and he told me stories prior to Sarajevo. And it was just really stirring, and I'm so glad they're doing this for him.
Yeah, it's a great streak, an amazing accomplishment, and one of the great numbers in the history of broadcasting. You hear a number of broadcasters chiming in with that, saying they can't believe the Iron Man streak of Tom Cheek. He's synonymous with the Blue Jays. When we come back, we'll take you to Skydome finally, and they will honor the longtime broadcasters.
Live from the Skydome in Toronto, Blue Jays baseball is on the air.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2 Blue Jays down. Oh, gets into one. This one's well hit. Forget about it. It's a home run. That was way back there. First baseman Doug Alt has electrified this crowd at Exhibition Stadium. He works to Hassey. There's a swing and a fly ball left field. Bell is there. He's got it. The Blue Jays have done it. They have won the East. They have won the East. George Bell catching the ball and dropping to his knees. Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a belt. Left field. Way back. Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run in the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Since 1977, Tom Cheek has been the voice of baseball in Toronto, the voice of summer.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet.
A short distance from Skydome in Toronto is Exhibition Stadium, where in 1977 it began for the Toronto Blue Jays. And there to describe the action, was Tom Cheek, who's being honored for his work as a Blue Jays broadcaster. Hi, everybody. Alongside John Cerruti, I'm Rob Folds, and it is indeed a pleasure to be here on a day that they honored Tom Cheek. John, you had your actions described by Tom. You've known him for an awfully long time. He's a very good broadcaster, but an even better man.
Yes, he's become a good friend. He is synonymous with Blue Jays baseball, and I think always will be. He's a great broadcaster and an even greater gentleman, and I think in the near future he will be honored in Cooperstown.
Well, you take a look at a streak like Tom Cheek's. What does it encompass since 1977? Well, that's what it takes to do a streak of 4,306 games.
Well, I guess it is. It's something that I never really gave a lot of thought to. People would ask, how many games, and I never knew the answer. And then somebody would figure it out, and I'd look at it and say, whoa, And, it was wonderful to watch the organization from day one do the things that they did, and to be a part of all of that to help chronicle the events and go to 2 World Series titles and that kind of business. Wonderful stuff. So it's been a great experience.
Tom is well known around Major League Baseball because he's really been here representing the Blue Jays through and through. And I think, too, when they see Tom, they see the Blue Jays, and they see someone who has a passion for what he does. And we should all be blessed to enjoy what we do day in and day out. And that's why, in some respects, this illness here has really kind of cut to my heart for him, because he's not allowed to do fully what he thoroughly enjoys doing, and that's calling Blue Jays games.
Jerry Howarth has sat alongside Tom Cheek for over 20 years. My first memory of Tom Cheek, like many Canadians, flipping on the radio on that very chilly April day, listening to him describe the snow-covered field, listen to that call of Doug Alt's first home run. He always brought color and excitement to Blue Jay games, and that is why he's being honored today.
And always the enthusiasm. We heard it in '77. We've heard it for 28 years now, the enthusiasm for baseball in Blue Jays baseball, and this is a great tribute. It's well deserved. I know he's such a modest man. He's kind of taken back by all of this, but he will be up there with all the great Blue Jays in the history of this game.
Interesting story about Tom Cheek. He got to start broadcasting Major League Baseball. He was the fill-in radio guy when Dave Van Horn switched to television. So he started with the Montreal Expos and moved to the Toronto Blue Jays. He was there from day one. I spoke to Len Bramson. He said that they received hundreds of resumes, number of tapes. They interviewed 7 people. Included in that bunch was Tim McCarver, but it was Tom Cheek's voice that stood out.
Yeah, what a voice. What a voice it has been. Again, you just think of all the memories, all the times, and through the illness this year, he's come back and he sounds as great as ever.
Tom is Tom. He loves this game. He loves this city, and he thinks that all he's trying to do is describe a pastime that he has always loved growing up around. It is one of those things of rare opportunity to get to do what you really love, and that's what Tom Cheek has done since 1977. And it is only fitting that Jerry Howarth is here on this day to help lead us through a very special presentation. It is Tom Cheek Day here at the ballpark, the broadcaster of the Blue Jays since 1977. Let's join Jerry Howarth now.
Very nice indeed. We'd like to thank the people in the Jumbotron for putting that together. Tremendous job. We'd also like to say, Tom, that this pregame ceremony is being carried across our fan radio network, coast to coast. Mike Wilner, our partner's up in the booth, and your good friend and ours, Bruce Brenner, allowing all this to happen, as also many more listen on the internet here today from the Sky Dome. I'd like to now introduce the people up here with me at center stage, and I'd like to start off with a gentleman from the Fan 590 and Rogers Media who does some pretty good voice impersonations of his own, Don Landry, down to my right. Seated next to Don is a great friend who is now his co-host in the morning, Gord Stellick. The alumni are in town, and these are Tom's friends, myself as well. They've come through here through Exhibition Stadium and now the Sky Dome. This first gentleman, a Rule 5 pick from the New York Mets back in December of 1984. He came to the Blue Jays as a 22-year-old outfielder in 1985 and played 5 seasons with the Blue Jays and the New York Mets. He is now a university professor in physical education at Auburn University, Montgomery in Montgomery, Alabama. Please welcome Lou Thornton. This next gentleman came to the Blue Jays at the age of 21 back in 1985. He played 4 years here. Then he went to Japan, Hideki, in 1989 to learn to hit the curveball. And as they say, the rest is history. In 1990, he came back, hit 51 home runs with the Detroit Tigers, on his way toward hitting 319 home runs, 26 of those with the New York Yankees. We know him as Big Daddy, Cecil Fielder. This next gentleman came to the Blue Jays in 1982 in a trade with the Kansas City Royals for pitcher Phil Huffman. Oh, what a trade that was. He played 11 seasons here in Toronto, helped win 4 division titles and the first World Series in 1992. He is one of the finest third basemen ever to wear a Blue Jays uniform, Rance Mulliniks. This next player from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic came to Toronto as a 21-year-old outfielder via the Rule 5 draft from the Philadelphia Phillies. Thank you, Pat Gillick and Epi Guerrero. He was the American League's most valuable player with Toronto back in 1987, hitting .308 with 47 home runs and 134 runs batted in. He finished his 12-year career with the Blue Jays, Cubs, and White Sox, hitting 265 home runs and driving in 1,002 runs. George Bell. This next gentleman is indeed just that, a gentleman. He played 11 seasons in outfields from Atlanta to San Diego and even squeezed in a couple of games in Pittsburgh. But we know him as the 9-year manager of the Toronto Blue Jays who helped guide his teams to 4 division titles, 2 American League pennants, and 2 World Series, Cito Gaston. So to my right is Tom's Blue Jays family, but to my left is his family. His wife Shirley of 45 years and the true pillar of strength in the Cheek family. His daughter Lisa is here. Now Lisa Olson, mother of 2. His son Tom, father of 3. And his son Jeff, who is the father of 1, but oh, what a one, 2-year-old Jackson, who for sure is going to be the next Blue Jay. Also with us here today on this special day, one of our good friends who was responsible for putting together the Blue Jays radio network and the man who hired Tom to broadcast that very first game, April 7th, 1977, with Early Wynn, and then later hired a Jerry for the Tom and Jerry broadcast, our good friend, Len Bramson. Next to Len is my good friend and the president of the Blue Jays, who will speak in just a few moments, Paul Godfrey. And finally, next to Paul, Rob McDougall, noted Canadian artist who will be part of our pregame ceremony in just a few minutes. Rob, nice to have you here. How about a nice hand for Tom's family? I have a letter I would like to read to all of you. Dear Tom, throughout my playing career, I always remembered seeing you during our visits to Toronto, or when the Blue Jays came to Memorial Stadium and later Camden Yards. However, I was unaware of the tremendous streak that you had in the broadcast booth. Not missing a single Blue Jays broadcast in 27 and a half years is remarkable. 4,306 consecutive games in the booth that began with the Blue Jays' first ever game demonstrates a great commitment to your organization and your craft, and it is something that you should be very proud of. I was happy to learn that the Blue Jays decided to recognize that tremendous dedication, and I wanted to send you this note to say congratulations and wish you all the best in the future. Cal Ripken Jr. I now would like to have from our flagship station, the Fan 590, Don Landry and Gord Stellick, please come up here to make a special presentation to Tom.
Thanks very much, Jerry. And first of all, Tom, I was here in 1977, so it's a real honor when Lenny started the HUPEX network. I'm pleased to come full circle and involved with you now on the Rogers radio broadcast, and I'll turn it to my new partner, Don Landry.
Tom, it is our great pleasure to be with you here today to salute such an incredible accomplishment. And on behalf of the Fan 590 and Rogers Broadcasting, I would like to make this presentation along with Gord to you. And I'll just read the certificate, sir. With great appreciation for 28 seasons of extraordinary performance in radio broadcasting, this certificate entitles Tom and Shirley Cheek to a 7-day cruise on the Queen Mary 2 departing February 5th, 2005. Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you, Don. Gord. It is now my pleasure to bring up Paul Godfrey, representing the Toronto Blue Jays. Paul?
Thank you very much, Jerry, and ladies and gentlemen. You know, when you think of Iron Men of baseball, you think of Lou Gehrig and Cal Ripken. When I think of Iron Men connected with the Blue Jays, one name, Tom Cheek, comes right to the forefront of one's mind. 4,306 games, unbelievable when you consider that Ripken played 2,600 games, Gehrig about 2,100, Tom Cheek almost double that. Tom, a special congratulations to you and to your entire family, not only dedicating your career to this club, but we thank you for everything you have done. From that first pitch that Bill Singer threw for a strike, to the one, touch 'em all, Joe, I think excited fans throughout the years. Tom, I have 3 things to present to you today. I wonder if you would come forward to accept this letter that's been suitably framed by Commissioner Seelig, which honors you today and thanks you for all those great memories on behalf of baseball. Tom, thank you for that. Tom, I wonder if you'd come on this side, and I'd ask Rob McDougall to come forward as we unveil this special painting to Tom as a commemoration of the years of doing Blue Jay games and doing them in a first-class way. Tom Cheek, 4,306. And across the bottom, touch 'em all, Joe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, finally, we honor all our All-Stars at one point in time. And if you look up at the wall of excellence, at the level of excellence, you'll see some great names, some of them sitting here today. We want to add one name to that list today. And if you look out in right field, as that sign is unveiled, please welcome the new All-Star to the level of excellence, Tom Cheek. Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now he's going to make me cry. I thought I was out here to try to explain to everybody that there was no record for the number of games broadcast in a row by one individual, that there's only one man in the game who can call himself the untouchable, and that is the man in Baltimore who sent me the letter. Cal is the one guy in the game. This up here with these names and people who have made this organization what it is more than I'm going to be able to handle here this afternoon. I'm glad that all the introductions have been done, and I'm glad that you folks were able to get in to see the game here after the weather situation that we had. We're going to make this very short. I know the Yankees are ready to hit the road, and the sooner the better on that one, by the way. I do want to say that someone put it so beautifully on the piece that we saw today on the Jumbotron. They shaped our franchise and became a part of our history. And that's these guys sitting right here who made the organization what it really is. And there's one other thing that I want to do, and I want to get down here so that I can do it to all directions. And that is to say, and most of you know that I've been fighting a situation now for over a month, or going on 2 months now, and we're doing the best we can to stay ahead of it. A brain tumor, we're dealing with it, and in all my best imagination, I could never imagine the number of mail pieces that I received, email pieces, phone calls, everything that you could possibly think of. I never could really get the point until somebody said, and then a lot of them followed, since I was a little kid, you have been a sound of summer. So that gave me kind of an idea about what this day was all about. I have received so many, I could never, ever say thank you to all of the people who sent them. So at this time, I hope that the word gets out to one and all. I say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and God bless you. To everybody. To everybody.
much. And on behalf of Tom and his family, let me just say that his loyalty to the fans has always been his greatest strength, that and his family. Now it's time to play ball.
Tom Cheek credited the players for shaping the Blue Jays' history, but it was Tom Cheek's voice that brought that history to life. And today at Skydome, Tom Cheek takes his position with some of the greatest Blue Jays of all time. The level of excellence is a fitting spot for Tom Cheek. We're celebrating the streak. We're celebrating the Blue Jays, and we're celebrating baseball. The ball game's next.
So 2:15 was the scheduled time. The game pushed back an hour and 15 minutes, but it's coming up on 2:30 Eastern, and the first pitch just moments away. We'll go back to Skydome momentarily. For that, we had brought you Dodgers and Mets bonus coverage, and there has been some action there as Kijiji, pitcher, facing pitcher, knocks one up the middle, and then Chris Benson, the pitcher for the Mets, fielding error for him, allows Ventura to score. Strange situation. Now the Dodgers with a 4-1 lead, playing in the top of the fifth. Hidalgo has just hit a home run as well. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in that ball game. But again, a fitting tribute to Tom Cheek, and a man of a few words. And brilliant to think about the fact how many words he's spoken those 4,306 consecutive games, but very quick and to the point. He wants the players to get on the field today.
He sure does, and being a broadcaster now myself, getting to know Tom Cheek on a professional basis, just a fantastic individual. So great to sit down and talk to about baseball. He has so much knowledge. It's just a treat to get to see him and talk to him.
And the sound of summer, a great way to put it for a lot of people, particularly in the days before there were a lot of TV games. He brought the imagination to everybody and painted his own picture. We'll take a break and be back with the first pitch at Scotto.